Uh, let's get on to some of the questions which have come up and which we've been discussing about. You know, throughout our history, technology and warfare have gone together, and they've had a very symbiotic relationship. And today, with all the technology which has come up, and what's happening in Ukraine and Gaza, and probably in the South China Sea also, we see the impact of technology is still there. How do you see this going forward, this relationship between the military and the technology?
Technology has always influenced warfare. This has happened right from the time, man came onto the civilization evolved in the earth actually. And, what happens is when technology in large numbers comes into the forces, it impacts on their tactics, it impacts on their organization in such a manner that what they call is the revolution in military affairs. That's a term which is coined by West. Otherwise, technology when it comes in, it does affect tactics a little bit. But in large number when it does, it's known as a revolution in military affairs. And I'll try and answer this by giving you small examples
Sure,
actually. Since ancient to medieval times, all wars have taken place on a single battlefield, whether from Kurukshetra to Kalinga, or from Palasi to Panipat. You take the Western wars also. It's only somewhere around the middle of 19th century, during the American Civil War or the Crimean War, when there was the discovery of railways and telegraph. Now, these two things were not discovered for fighting a war, but then they helped warfare in the sense they revolutionized it. That means now people could move forces from one area to the other quickly, communicate with them, and hence warfare got split in time and space. So it could now, you could fight in 3 or 4 different places at same point of time, and you could communicate with them because of telegraph and all. Now, of course, after that, war could also be fought on land, space, air, now cyber, and many kind of domains. It's expanded. So this expansion of this battle space has really exploded right now in modern times. But what happened that time was new organizations came up. Earlier, there used to be only a CNC or a commander or a sovereign who would command his army with help of some flags and runners. But now, suddenly you had something known as a staff, general staff. You had a GHQ, which used to control. You had theater commanders. You would control kind of battles. So there was an organizational change and shift. So right now, that similar kind of a revolution is on us actually. Maybe it's something like when we say network-centric kind of in warfare, in which, again, the whole paradigm of warfare is changing. That means we are going to have sensors and shooters integrated in such manner that seamlessly we'll be able to employ forces, sense what is there, and this is creating a kind of battlefield transparency, some kind of a real-time situational awareness, and application force is changing. And it is also not only changing our tactics, it's also changing number of organizations. So this has had a symbiotic relationship, and this will continue for a very long time.
Yeah, I get that, sir. And with the kind of revolution which you spoke of and what's happening, and a lot of science in it and all that, there's a dichotomy in many people's mind whether war is an art or warfare is a science. And what are your views on that?
Let me answer it this way. I'll give you a practical kind of an answer. When I got commissioned, that's almost about 42 years back. As a young infantry officer, we are operating next to the line of control, next to the Pakistani posts. There, if you are leading a section out on a patrol, you need to understand ground, you need to understand what the enemy is doing, what are the ranges, what are his weapon systems, and every fold of ground would actually, you'll be seeing intervisibility, you understand which unit is there, whether it's a Baluch unit, whether it's a frontier force unit, and you would know their morale, etc. And there actually we thought that anything to do in warfare is actually an art. There was no science in it. Couple of my batchmates probably went to the Air Force. And when they were flying aircraft in a similar kind of a combat, it was all science for them, because there was no art over there. So it depends. So both of them are working together. Maybe when you are planning for a particular thing, for operations, then it's more for science because you're taking various objective parameters. You're calculating things and then putting it out on paper. Warfare probably till that point of time is science. But as they say, the moment you enter the field and your first contact and all plans go haywire, and thereafter probably art starts. But as we are getting into modern kind of warfare, which is say unmanned, which is autonomous, so here you'll find that science overtaking this art part of warfare. That will go away, but a little bit of art will remain because after all, war is not just technology. It's also a human endeavor because human beings are fighting it. So there'll be fear, there'll be pain, there'll be anxiety. All these things will be there. There'll be leadership, there'll be morale. So this part would be a little bit of art, but most of it would be science in future.
I think you put it very nicely. If I, summarize what you say, war is going to be taught scientifically, planned scientifically, but it has to be executed artistically, if I may say so. And that, I think, is the crux of what the Chief of Defense Staff has said.